Wait, is this thing on? Hey, thank you for being here. Hey, Russ Johns here. Whether you're listening to this on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, anywhere you find your content, this could be a podcast. You never know where I'm going to show up. This is reviewed by Russ. And today's tip is brought to you by me, Russ Johns. And so the topic of today is ask better questions. Ask better questions. And the reason I am sharing this with you today is because there are so many opportunities out there that when you're open to opportunities and you're anxious and excited about getting involved, what sometimes on occasion takes place, this is just my experience, I'm sure that your experience may differ, is that I get excited about projects and then I don't ask enough questions about it. And then it's like later on I find more details and you dig underneath, and it's like some things are like, well, I didn't imagine that was the case, but okay. And what happens is you spend a lot of time discovering what needed to be identified before you started the process. Projects, any kind of projects, whether it's web development project, any creative project, you're doing content, you're creating content for an individual or a company. And the less information you have before you start, the longer the process will take. Okay? The less information you have, the longer the process will take. And Jeffrey Gitomer said this. I'm a fan of Jeffrey Gitomer, and his questions are to sales as breath is to life. If you fail to ask them, you will die. If you ask them incorrectly, your death won't be immediate, but it will be inevitable. By Jeffrey Gitomer. And the reason I bring this up is because, as someone that builds platforms for speakers, authors, and coaches and helps build this infrastructure out, sometimes there's an opportunity that you need to have a longer conversation. And if you can help, or you're not the best person to help, you need to pass that project up and go on to something that you're more suited for. You can provide more benefit, you can provide more value, you can provide more assistance, you can provide more strategy, whatever it happens to be. You need to really isolate those issues in advance of investing a lot of time in a project. A discovery plan, something that helps you identify. And here, the question I ask you is, how many times have you been on listening to talk radio or a podcast or something like that, and you're saying, I wish they would ask this question. I wish they would ask this question. And it's, you know the question. You know the question you needed to ask. You know the question they needed to ask. And it was never asked. So think of those in your own business. Here's the tip. Think of questions that you know are going to get asked over and over and over and over again. Write them down, document that process, and make sure that you have a strategy for walking people through that. Because if you're not the best resource, you can become the best resource by introducing them to someone else, instead of struggling through a process that you have no business working on. So, ask better questions. That's the tip of the day. And I'm Russ Johns, and this is reviewed by Russ. 2-minute tips in 10 minutes or less. Enjoy the day.